All right, so I wanted to, now that it's been, what, 2 days of playing the patch, the new patch 6.1, I just wanted to talk about what I've done so far and how cool it is and how good it is, and maybe some stuff that ain't not so good. And just give you, like, just talk about how 6.1 is going so far. So, the Alliance raid. The new Alliance raid. Aglaia. Now, I actually did the unlock quests off stream. And there's not a ton of unlock quests to do. Like, I think a lot of people had been worried that, it would... Some people were excited about the prospect. Some people were worried about the prospect that it could have as much lore and text and reading and cutscenes as Ivaldis did. Some people love that. I really liked that. But other people found that to be tedious and boring and did not like it. I think the majority of people did like it. But that was a question of discussion there. And happily, Aglaia, I think it has the right amount of quest story, like, because you get a little bit more after you finish the raid. It's intriguing. Like, I'm gonna try to not be spoilery here, but you meet a character who takes you there, who is extremely sus and full of mystery, who I think is not who he says he is. I think he's the imposter, personally. Derek. I don't trust Derek as far as you could throw him. I do not trust Derek at all. Or his little friend. His little Oppo friend. He's a bit sus. Derek is very sus. But, I don't know how much I can say without being spoilery. Obviously, this is, like, Aglaia is a raid about challenging the different gods, like all the 12. And it's still a mystery as to why you need to do that. And I'm super intrigued. I'm very invested. I cannot wait till the next patch where we get an addition to Aglaia, because I can see the next raid. Because I really want to know what happens next. I want to know the reason why we have to go there, because it's still unclear. But there is some kind of compelling reason. I wonder if they know the reason, or if they just needed to give themselves more time to figure out what the reason would be. Okay, but all that aside, all that story stuff aside, I love the story. It's not too much reading for people that don't like to read. I think it's the right amount. The music is absolutely phenomenal. Actually, let me see if I can play a little bit. Aglaia final boss theme. I need this orchestral roll super bad. Let me just play it if you can hear it. Oh yeah. I'll just play it so you can hear. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Can you hear it? So obviously the music is fantastic for Aglaia. It's very thematic. It's like the old DAW song. You can hear like coins jingling in the background of the song. It's talking about fortune, like turning your fortunes around and seeking riches and things. It's such a bop. It's so good. I love this song. Yeah. And the Null Ball fight itself is such a spectacle. It's incredible. Actually, do appreciate the fact that there is a raid wipe mechanic where I don't think one person can screw it up and wipe the raid. But it did kind of seem like that a few times that I've done it. There have been times when I did it and it was like everything's balanced, and at the very last second somebody rushes over to the other side and slips and we wipe. But that's been funny. For me, I still find that to be hilarious. I don't know how many more times I'll wipe before I stop finding that hilarious. But I think it's really funny. I've been enjoying that fight a lot. It's super cool. And obviously they put Thal's balls in the raid. You can see Thal's giant balls in the raid. They had to. They had to do it. And as for the other boss fights, actually the music from the other parts of Aglaia is beautiful. Pilgrimage is the name of the song, the zone theme. Ooh. It's like a lullaby. It has this sort of like swaying motion to it. Like swishing and swaying. I don't know how to describe music. It's hard to describe music. But they put Beauregard as the first boss. And one thing I love about the fights with Beauregard and the fight with Rauger is that the arena is not always just square and flat or like circle that's static and unchanging. Like the Beauregard arena is dynamic, it's moving, you have to pay attention like where it's going to be safe to stand because parts of the arena are going to go away in a controlled manner. And I love the Rauger arena. That's like a hand that you can slip through the fingers. I definitely flew off between the fingers a couple of times. So I really love the more innovative arena design for the Beauregard fight and the Rauger fight. I think they're great. They're really fun to do. The Azema fight is sort of more generic of a boss fight, like a more of what I would tend to expect, but it's still really enjoyable. I think it's probably the weakest in terms of design, though, out of all. But it's gorgeous. Like the actual arena itself is really beautiful. So, not to mention the gear. I don't think we have anyone around here. Do you have the gear on? Yeah, you do. So Rithel's here with the maiming gear. It's dyeable. I would put it black. That's it. The gear is fantastic. I really, really want to go back and get the healer chest or the caster chest. They're beautiful. So I really want to, that's pretty much the main thing I've been doing is like just farming out, trying to get the healer chest, but I haven't seen it drop even. The top is so good. So I'm extremely happy with this raid. I think it's probably the best alliance raid that we've ever gotten. It is definitely at least as good as Iblis, if not better. I don't know anybody that has done it and didn't like it, actually. So it's fantastic. It's great. Okay, so the other thing that I've been obsessed with in the patch so far has been PvP. And people might have noticed this because actually when I logged into the patch on a Tuesday, I was like, I'll just do a little PvP. Just get started here. And then I ended up doing like 2 or 3 hours of nothing but PvP. Just, and I still haven't even tried out all the jobs. So I have so far tried out Dancer, Bard, Paladin, Warrior, and I think that's it. Those are the ones that I think I have gone in to a couple of matches on. I have been returning to Paladin. I keep going back in as Paladin. That's the job I've been enjoying the most so far in PvP. Maybe it's just because I'm really bad and it helps me stay alive longer. But I feel like Paladin's LB called Phalanx is super strong. I'm probably gonna be putting up a video on the main channel in the next few days talking about all the different LBs because they're super cool. But Paladin's LB, I feel like a god when I press the button because it gives you hollowed ground and it makes everybody around you take 50% less damage. It is incredibly powerful for keeping your team on the point. I actually did have a game turn around completely because of that button. And it also kind of made me feel like having a tank on your team that can press a button like that, it feels like you have an advantage over a more squishy team. Like right now there is no like roll queue, like forced roll queue. So you can queue in and be on a team with 4 DPS, and then the other team has like 2 tanks, a healer, and a DPS, or like a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS. And it feels like if I queue in a situation like that, I usually feel like, oh shit, this is not gonna go well. But like, I think at least having 1 tank on your team, that feels important. Maybe you can live without a healer, but yeah, it's just, that's been something on my mind. But then, you know, you have to ask yourself, if they did add a forced roll queue, maybe the queues would be a lot longer, and their focus right now is just making the queues as short as possible, so as many people will just spam PvP as possible. But I'm not sure. Summoner feels, yeah, I really want to try Summoner. I haven't tried it. Dragoon is insane. Look, I got deleted by a Dragoon the other day, and I didn't know what the Dragoon LB was, but I found out PvP because it was last night, and it's Dragoon like jumped on my head out of nowhere. I did not see them. They jumped on my head out of nowhere, and I just got deleted. Like, I was just... And I saw it took like 26k damage or something from Sky Shatter. I was like, whoa, that sounds like a Dragoon. It sounds like a Dragoon just wrecked me. Which is exactly what happened. So, that's how I learned about Dragoon LB. Dragoon LB. Because your kit is so simplified, you have what, like 5, 6 buttons, like not that many buttons to go into PvP with. I think it's a great way for people to get accustomed to what the job fantasy is like for a job, because the PvP job fantasy is done incredibly well. You have ridiculous limit break skills that just epitomize what that job is all about, right? Like Dancer gets the seduction ability, and I think like, because you can enter PvP at a pretty low level, it's a nice way to explore different job fantasies and see which ones appeal to you the most. Pretty much everybody having a lot of fun with it. And though I do feel like there's some people who seem to expect it to be a fully fleshed out, like perfect PvP system that has a million different modes and a million different maps, but like they just fixed it. This is a new project. This is the new frontier for PvP and Policy 14, and I think like this as the introduction to it, the groundwork is really promising. It's looking really good. It's looking really good. So I'm happy with it, and I'm looking forward to see new maps and stuff that they add. One thing I like too is the maps have mechanics. Like if you get into the volcano map, it might spew lava everywhere. So you have to like be aware of that. Oh yeah, I did a match where the enemy team locked us down right before the eruptions went off. They locked us down in the lane where the lava would go, right before the lava went and just wrecked the entire team. So seeing that kind of coordination was admirable, even though we were the ones at the receiving end of it. It was still admirable to see. I respected it, okay? I respected the play, the big play. The problem we had in the past with the Feast was there were some good rewards, but you could only get it if you were like top 100. And most people do not feel like spending 300 hours like spamming PvP and obsessing over PvP. Most people don't have this kind of time. So now there's like actually good and cool rewards for just playing the game, just doing PvP in a normal way and not a super hardcore way. Like there was the wolf collars that you could exchange for rewards, but the rewards are really shit. So I'm glad that they fixed that, and I think that having the series reset and give you new rewards, this is gonna keep people playing even after they got all the shit from this series. They will come back for the next series. So I think it's something that the game really needs, is something to keep people wanting to play in between major patches, and I think PvP is the perfect system for that. PvP is where that's appropriate. So yeah, I'm really happy with PvP. Stinker Extreme, I've done a bit of that, and I mean, it's really fun. I'm enjoying the fight a lot. Yesterday we blind progged it for a couple of hours. We got to like 10%, and Yoshi P Yoshimi said that it was gonna be like the hardest extreme trial ever, like nightmare difficulty. And I mean, it's pretty hard as extreme trials go. Like, I would say it's on par with like P2S. It's definitely harder than P1S. It's more like between a second and third tier Savage fight, I would say. Not tier, but floor. Within a tier Savage fight. You really do have to be on your toes. It's very, very busy, but it has a pretty lenient DPS check. Like, we had so many people dead when we got to 10%. And I think that DPS check is not bad at all. But again, it's an extreme trial, and I think that they have established that they want extreme trial to be not as hard as Savage generally. But Yoshimi said he wanted this to be pretty hard considering it's the final boss of that story arc. Honestly, the most annoying thing in that fight is the barf mechanic and the bleeding eyes mechanic. God, it sucks so much because it's such a simple mechanic, and it's so infuriating because it comes up at the most inconvenient times. Where like you have to do something really complicated, and like you've put all your brain power on doing the complicated thing, and then immediately after that, she'll barf all over the arena, and you forget that she was gonna do that. So that has been completely maddening. Like, we were all mauling over that yesterday. It's always at the worst time. It's always at a time when you are absolutely not looking at her face. You are not looking at her face. You're looking at everything else that's going on. She's distracting you so she can barf on you. It's horrible. It's disgusting. But it's also not a super long fight. It's like around 9 minutes, I would say. 9 minutes long. And there's no extra phase or anything like in Hades, or I think even Shinryu had an extra phase. So I saw some people were kind of complaining about that. I think obviously it's always nicer to have an extra phase, like to have something new and different to look forward to in the extreme version. But the fight is really fun, and it's a full uptime fight, so I mean, if there was, I'm like, if there was a phase change, would it be full uptime? I don't know. Maybe it's better full uptime fight. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to clearing it, and we'll probably get it done maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. What else did we do? We did the story. I think the story is really strong, without being spoilery. How could I put this? So as for the story, I really didn't feel any emotional investment into the story, like before the patch release, because they said it was going to be a new adventure, a new story. So I didn't have any feeling of suspense. I didn't feel any emotional investment, and when I loaded up the game on Tuesday, I'm thinking, okay, well, I hope this story makes me care about where we're going next, or like what the next problem is. How could it possibly be a bigger problem than the one that we just solved? I really hope that I can get invested in whatever thing we're doing. And for me, like, yeah, the Indiana Jonesy stuff is like, it's fun and it's nice as like a diversion, but I didn't really want to be all about that, like only that. Like, we need something more meatier than that to keep my attention, I think, in the story. And they actually delivered. They introduced some problems that are appearing to be huge problems that are very mysterious and very intriguing. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. There is a big mystery and some elements of like, is that bad guy really that bad? I always love that. That's one of my favorite things. Is the bad guy really so bad? I feel like we got a little bit of that near the end. But I don't know what else I can say. Yeah, there are a lot of adorable cutscenes. Shtola being super cute magical girl. And I'm excited for the new adventure, yeah. I think it was probably one of the strongest overall patches with everything that we got. Like, I felt very satisfied. A lot of times in the past, we would get like a little story patch, and then it would end on this note that made me feel like, well, that's it. That's it. Not satisfied at all. Like, oh my God, do I have to wait 3 months now for the next one? I didn't feel like that this time, actually. I felt more like really satisfied with the conclusion and the point where it ended, but also really excited and curious about what's going to come next. And that's kind of a difficult thing to pull off, but I think they did it. So I'm happy with it. They said it was going to be like A New Hope, like that was their inspiration, like for Star Wars, A New Hope. And I can kind of see that, because with A New Hope, I think I talked about this before, the situation in that movie is very grim. Like, there's a massive, there's an overwhelming oppression in the universe. And I think that this patch let us know that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, like in other realms, that we can't even begin to imagine. Oh, right, adventure plates. I knew I forgot something. Adventure plates. It's so good. Oh my God. I love adventure plates because now every time I go into a random dungeon or raid or whatever, the first thing I do is I right click on somebody's name and I click view adventure plate. Maybe I should stop doing that, actually. It's like instant regret. Not anymore. No more. I take it back. This is a cursed feature. Please remove it. Please. Please. I have seen so many lewd ones, though. I've seen some, like, very, like, as NSFW as you could possibly do it, all over Twitter, and I just love this community so much for doing that. Like, if you spent any time on Twitter at all in the last 2 days, you've seen it. You know. I just wonder, like, what their reaction. They had to have known. That people would put their butt in it. I mean, come on. They had to realize. It's so funny.